What's going on, everybody? Leo Cannell here with today's Seven Figures Club podcast. Today, my friends, I want to talk to you about an important topic. It's the topic of how do you deal with stressful, difficult, conflictive, combative situations, and where do you find those solutions? How should you react? Why is it vital to avoid, losing control and starting to scream and go crazy during these situations? And what are the things that you want to do to avoid these types of issues now and into the future? So let's get going.
There are over 32 million businesses in the U.S., and over 90% of them will never break seven figures in annual sales. So how do we as entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs break into that seven figures club? This podcast will relentlessly share the secrets, strategies, and tactics I've used to create 3 multi-seven figures businesses and bring in even more successful entrepreneurs than me to share their inspirational stories and tactics to success. You can create your dream business and life right now. So buckle up and let's go.
All right, guys, hope you're having an amazing second half of 2021 and that you're attacking the third quarter and that you've got the specific goals and targets that you want to hit for the quarter and you're making things happen. Around here, it's been busy. We just moved from one office to another. The good news, it was in the same building, so it didn't take us too long to get everything fixed. And jumping right into it, like there's just problems everywhere. And how we react to those problems and deal with them determines how successful we will be in all aspects of life. And so, for example, it was last Friday we were moving our office, and I had confirmed about 3 times with the gentleman who was supposed to come and install our internet, not the actual internet company, but you have to have like a server guy or gal who comes and installs that and moves your equipment over. And so the internet provider doesn't actually want to do that and take on that liability. So you have a third-party independent contractor that's supposed to show up and do that. And for whatever reason, they did not show up. They did not answer my 5 phone calls. And so here we were with a problem, a pretty big problem. And what I did was, as the internet guy came over, I said, hey, I know you're not supposed to. How can I pay you as an independent contractor? And maybe you can help with your expertise to move these, server boxes and internet provider boxes down to the first floor where we're moving our office down from the second floor. And to his amazing credit, we just focused on those solutions. I didn't throw a big fit and leave messages and emails and curse out the independent contractor company that just left us hanging dry. Just went right on. Where's the solution at? Let's find that. Let's not waste any time with the mistakes and the foolish behavior and problems that came from the independent contractor not showing up. And again, thank goodness for Sione, awesome guy at this internet service provider. He helped set everything up. I, was right there with him, holding the boxes. And even though I have zero, manual labor skills and hammers and pliers and drilling, all that stuff that my wife makes fun of me, we were able to get the internet set up within about an hour and not waste any time, because on Friday, champions create space and separate, and we like to create space from our competition on Fridays, as my good friend Andy Frisella often says. So an example of a problem that comes up, and what do you do? How do you find that solution? Another problem that came up recently was we had one of our big funding sources, and they're great at providing funding deals for doctors. And we had a client who was a doctor and was going to be a perfect fit for their program. We did the due diligence. We put together an agreement with the client that he would pay a $3,000 success fee if we were able to secure him financing. He got $150,000, really great affordable loan for his medical practice. He's paying a 2% success fee, $3,000. Everyone's on the same page, and then the client at the last second tries to pretend like he doesn't know it, that he didn't sign a legally binding agreement. And then to make matters worse, the referral partner that sent over the deal tries to say that he's owed a bigger commission, and he tries to get the client to pay a direct commission to him, even though he doesn't have any type of agreement. And all he did was take 30 seconds to fill out our referral form, and of course we pay him 30%. In this case, we agreed to pay him 35% of our funding success payments just for taking 90 seconds and filling out that form. And so both of them, the client, the broker, are throwing these big, massive fits. And now the funding source is getting upset, and they're thinking about, cutting us off and not working with us anymore, even though we funded, millions of dollars in deals over the last 2 years with them, had a lot of success. And so just crazy. So I can lose my temper, I can scream, I can react emotionally. But nope, I just go right back to the facts as I know them. The guy signed an agreement. We capped our fees at $3,000. He got a $150,000 loan. The broker didn't have those types of connections to get that deal done, didn't have the knowledge. We did what we said we would do, and I just stayed calm and focused on all the solutions, explained what I knew to be the facts without any breaching or going outside of the facts. No emotional, not calling anybody any names, just focusing 100% on the issue and the solutions and the facts. And those, I think, are three of the keys: is staying calm when others are losing their temper, focusing 99% on solutions, 1% to acknowledge and understand the problem, but then move always towards those solutions, and try to take yourself out of the emotion and look objectively at what the facts are. I'll never forget, I've mentioned this, it was probably 50 episodes ago, but I do always remember my professor at the University of Utah in the Western, thought leader civilizations class, whatever it was called back then. And she was so good at separating things out and saying, you have to step back and not let your own personal biases and opinions affect what we know to be the facts. And we have to objectively weigh both sides of a story, of an issue, and try and find the truth and the solutions. And I'll always be grateful to Catherine Lundquist, for helping me to understand that. And that's something that society as a whole, boy, we need a lot of that right about now, with how out of control, politics are, the pandemic are, how politicized everything we do in this world has become. And people have gotten very, very bad at stepping back, being objective, and finding solutions and finding the truth, and being okay if the truth and the overall solutions and facts don't match their narrative, or they don't line up with their opinion, and they can step back and say, you know what, I was actually wrong in the way I was looking at this. This appears to be the more accurate solution or reality to this situation or issue, and we need a lot more of that, in today's world. So it's so vital, it's so important, especially in personal relationships, everything going on, to stay calm, to find that solution. And there are times where we're going to lose, our calmness. We're going to lose our temper. We're going to hopefully, come back to reason, come back to logic. And that's, something that I always try to come back to, is what is the logical, accurate, reasonable, truthful solution or reality to a problem or an issue. And I think 80% of the world struggles with that right now. For sure, 80% of our so-called journalists, who have really become propaganda machines, struggle with this. They can't separate fact from fiction. They can't separate their own opinion and narrative that they want to push on you versus truth and reality. As an example of that, for a long time, the media was saying that there was just zero chance that, this pandemic and this virus and COVID had originated, from a Wuhan lab. No, it was from a wet market and all these other things. And it wasn't the fact that it did or didn't. It was the problem with it was people weren't open-minded to go search for the truth. They had a political ideology, a narrative, and something that they wanted to, propagandize and push on us. And so they couldn't be bothered with objectively stepping back and what's reality? What's actually more likely? Is it more likely that one of the only type of labs who may or may not have been conducting experiments with these type of coronaviruses may have had an accident or may not have, or in some way, shape, or form, virus was created and released there? Is that more likely, or is it more likely it just magically happened and came from, some animal in a wet market, literally 2 blocks away from that Wuhan lab? And again, logic, facts, truth, and actually searching for it, those things matter. And it's unfortunate that so much of society just struggles to do that. And the problem is, a lot of us are so busy, we just don't take the time to research and find the facts. We get our so-called facts from one person or one source without digging deeper into the matter and without using common sense. And again, those things get us in trouble as business owners, as entrepreneurs, and for sure in our family and society as a whole. So again, the topic of this podcast is, how can you find solutions when you're dealing with, massive conflict and issues and problems, when shit hits the fan, so to say, and you got to step back. You've got to focus on those solutions. You've got to be objective, and you've got to be open to that truth and finding it. And you have to stay calm. There's no reason for everybody to lose their crap. One thing I love about my oldest son, Lucas, who just turned 18, is how even keel he is. This guy does not get too up. He does not get too down. He stays even in good times and bad times. And I appreciate that. And if you've ever seen someone like that, they are someone you can count on. They're not going to be over emotional with an issue. Most of the time, they're going to be level-headed, trying to be objective and trying to find solutions, the truth, etc. And so I really appreciate that about him. I think it's a great example that I even need help with, because sometimes my emotions get the best of me, and he does a great job of staying calm and finding, the truth and the solutions, and being okay if it's different than what he thought, or different from his opinion or narrative that maybe he had at the time. So hopefully this has been a topic that will, be something you can utilize to find success and to move your business, your relationships, and especially with business relationships, right? Like, how many businesses and relationships are hurt and ruined because somebody reacts terribly? Sometimes we're accused of something, and you know what? Well, let's take a look at it. Let's review the issue. Let's review the facts as we know and understand them. Are there new facts that I'm not aware of? Where is the truth? If we made a mistake, I want to apologize for the mistake. And here's what I know to be the truth, and here's what I know to be the solutions. And again, if there was any issue on my part, I want to apologize for it. But again, here's what I know to be the facts and the solutions for this issue. So that, my friends, hopefully will be something that you can put to use in your daily life, in your business relationships, with your employees, with your team, etc. So have an amazing day, make it happen, set those goals, take that massive action, and don't care what anybody thinks. And we will see you soon on the flip side of the 7 Figures Club podcast.
Are you looking for more 7-figure secrets, content, or even how you can launch your own recession-proof business? Then check out 7figures.com. That's the digit 7, FIGURES.com, where we share more videos, stories, strategies, funding solutions, entrepreneurial education, and even the secret business type that's recession-proof. Thank you for listening, and if you're finding value in our podcast, please give us a 5-star and invite others to join the club.